India, they say, has more potential possibly because it is not a command economy. Government involvement is much lighter than in China. As opposed to manufacturing, Indians excel at services, IT and pharma. Government services just 15% of GP, and state-owned enterprises comprise just 14 of the market cap compared to 73% in China. They see India, Malika, as a growth story, and the economic power of its young people, purchasing power, is so huge. But Malika, as we found out in this election, they are also a very powerful political force, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. You touched on a really key point, which is India's youth. Now, the most important thing to remember here is just the sheer size of this group. India has the world's youngest population. 65% of India's population is under the age of 35. And remember, we are a country of more than 1 billion people. So the numbers are mind-boggling. And, you know, the youth has tremendous power, economic power, certainly political power. We saw so many people, first-time voters, come out and take part in this election this time. What's interesting, though, is, you know, it has been called India's demographic dividend, but if the youth is not managed properly going forward, it could become a burden, a demographic burden on India. And let me explain what I mean by that. At the moment, the youth is struggling a little bit. They're complaining that they don't have jobs. They go to school, they go to college. When they graduate, there aren't any jobs. And that's been a big complaint that they've had against the government, against the Congress government that's now, of course, on its way out. Modi, he's come on board with a very sort of pro-business platform, pro-growth platform, pro-development, and he's really struck a chord with India's youth. Interestingly, you know, it was Rahul Gandhi, who's 43 years old. He was leading the Congress campaign, but the youth seems to have been much more energized and inspired by the ideas of a 63-year-old man, Narendra Modi, rather than the younger one, because Narendra Modi has been talking about development, about jobs, about creating more growth and therefore more opportunities for people. And India's youth, full of hope, full of aspiration, that's the man they've seemed to have decided to cast their vote for.
Malika, anytime we see someone with a mandate, there are also very high expectations. Is there a feeling, what's the honeymoon period from these young people? You know, they want to move up. They want to establish their own life. They want to be able to buy the things they want to buy. Is there a feeling that Modi is going to have to really deliver quickly? A lot of people pointing out this is a new generation. They're not tied to the politics, the older politics of India. Presumably they have a much shorter time frame when they want to see results delivered.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, we are talking about young people here. They are impatient. And what someone said to me today was interesting. They said, look, we've given the previous government 10 years. They didn't do anything for us. Let's give Modi 10 months, at least 10 months. Let's give him a chance to show that he can do something. But there is so much confidence in him, so much confidence that he can deliver, because everybody just looks back at his track record in Gujarat. He's been chief minister there for another 10 years. And what he's done there is really inspiring. He has really transformed the state, made it, economically speaking, one of the most successful states in India. So the hope is that he's able to replicate this Gujarat model of development across India. But yes, the youth is impatient, but at the moment a lot of them are saying, let's give him 10 months. Let's give him a chance to prove he can do something for us.
Malika, I love that. 10 months does seem like 10 years when you're that young, doesn't it? And it will be the challenge for this government. But again, their political clout and their economic clout mean that India's youth is a force to be reckoned with, and investors certainly paying attention to that. Malika, thank you so much. Well, as we've been just discussing, the big question for the incoming prime minister will be how to deliver on those campaign promises. CNN's Becky Anderson finds out what is ahead for the BJP.
Well, I'm joined here at this local market in New Delhi by the former editor-in-chief of The Hindu, one of India's largest newspapers, Mr. Siddharth Varadarajan. It's clear that Modi, Narendra Modi, and the BJP party are likely to win this and win this big. What can we expect?
Well, I think his first priority is obviously going to be to begin to deliver on the promises he made on the economic front. Don't forget, this is a country whose young electorate appears to have overwhelmingly rejected the Congress, because they say the Congress isn't the party that's going to provide me jobs, isn't looking after the economy. And Modi portrayed himself as a guy who could deliver on that front. So I think the expectations are enormous, and I think his first focus is going to be to do something to revive the growth rate in this economy.
If you had to draw an analogy with Mr. Modi and somebody else on the international stage, who would it be?
Well, he's a strong, some would say authoritarian, centralizing figure. Putin would be a good example. You know, Putin has this concept, Vladimir Putin has this concept of a power vertical where power is concentrated and what he decides gets enforced all the way down the line.